The upcoming 2024 presidential election is shaping up to be a pivotal moment for the US economy and financial markets. With the recent news that President Joe Biden has decided not to run for re-election and his endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris, there is a significant amount of uncertainty now surrounding the future policies and direction of our country. And that is really what we want to dive into in today's report. So let's kick it off with number one, economic and stock market risks. The upheaval of President Joe Biden dropping out of the 2024 election gives us even more uncertainty, which is likely to have a profound impact on many different sectors of our economy, from healthcare to energy to others. There's a potential to lead for really increased market volatility. Now, investors just kind of in general, and especially a lot of businesses, are watching closely all these developments and what's really changing here, because the policies that are going to be proposed by each candidate going forward could really significantly influence economic growth, inflation rates, and some of the regulatory environments that we're under. So with now Vice President Harris's economic platform, which he's going to really be starting to build up more and more, yes, some of it actually comes from President Biden's initiatives and some of the things that he was progressing, but she will be introducing new elements. And yes, it's not really something that we need to be completely looking at yet, because I do feel that we are going to be in a period of time where we're not going to be really understanding who's going to be the Democrat nominee until probably the national convention. But it is already generating a lot of discussion among economists and other market analysts. So what we're seeing now is that the outcome of this election could really have a far-reaching consequence on things like international trade, all of our tax laws and policies that we're doing, and even some of the government spending. So the political shift that's really occurring now could have that big impact. And some of the things that really have been working in the last week, like what we call the Trump trade, which was really just a lot of market trends and investment strategies that really emerged during his campaign, and not only that, but then also the administration when he was in office. Those things are potentially going to be unwound a little bit. So over the last week and a half, we've seen a lot of that pick up. But if it is that we see Vice President Harris really start to emerge as a contender to President Trump, I would expect to see more volatility and some of these unwindings occur, which obviously could provide a little more instability to the stock market. So that's really what we're seeing a lot of. And last week alone was one of these huge transitions, and it was some of the biggest in history for a rotation from some of the large companies to small companies. And when we talk about this mathematically, there was over a 4 standard deviation change that occurred. So this is completely outside of the normal. And that's a huge amount of change that happened, which really started causing forced selling from a lot of institutions and hedge funds. So there was a lot that was really just needed to be unwound, is what they call, from these institutions. And that really started to pick up the volatility into the end of the week. But that was, as of right now, all that it was. So we're not seeing really any major developments that would cause us to say we're in a new down period, but rather more of a correction. Number two, portfolio changes. Yes, there's been a lot of economic and market changes that have been occurring over the last week, but as I was saying, that this may be more of a short-term change rather than a long-term shift. And so we're not making any changes to our investment portfolio right now. We remain really committed to some of the core areas. So the growth in technology, is one that works well in this type of environment. Utilities are another one that works well. We've added in some very strategic bonds that would be a great place to have some interest in income coming in. But then also India and Japan have provided some of that growth outside of the US. And all of these sectors and regions are ones that we really do feel are going to be good benefits to come, but also could have some great growth potential as well. Number 3, wealth management and advanced planning. One area that we believe deserves some particular attention right now is the impact of the Secure Act on not only your accounts, but also large IRAs in general. Now, the new 10-year rule that came about from this, and then some of the exceptions for beneficiaries, really has caused some significant change to occur. And what is starting to really happen now is that we're seeing some implications to what we call wealth transfer and all of the estate planning strategies. Now, yes, we've talked about a couple of them, like the Roth conversion and some charitable options with some charitable remainder trusts. There's other opportunities that we have, and we can actually really explore some opportunities in insurances like life insurance, but also there are some state-specific IRA income tax strategies that we could be talking about as well. So with all of that, we are here to help with a lot of the different impacts of that Secure Act and how it may affect your IRA account. And that's what we want to be talking and learning a little bit more about today. So the advanced planning that comes from this and all the different techniques can really actually provide a greater flexibility and control over your retirement assets. Now, some of this can be done within a 401k, but others have to be done within your IRA accounts as well. So if this is something that we need to have really looked at and potentially implemented, there may be a switch between a 401k and an IRA that's needed. But what we would do is potentially set you up for a better tax strategy in the future, which would ultimately reduce your tax burden on the beneficiaries. So by implementing really what we call a comprehensive approach here to this strategy with your IRA, we can start to look at all of the different environments that can help you to optimize not only your wealth transfer goals in light of this new legislation, but we can also look at all of the crucial things that we talk about with respect to timing of your distributions, the potential impact of beneficiaries' tax brackets, and we can actually look at the carefully constructed opportunities we have with the 10-year rule as well. So, like I said, there's many opportunities here to really minimize your tax liabilities and to maximize the inheritance for your beneficiaries. But really what it does, it starts with conducting a regular review of your beneficiaries and then really starting to just talk about the estate plan and ways that you want to be passing money on in the future. Now, like I said, the wealth transfer is really just very simple. It's going to the correct people at the correct time with the least amount of tax impact. And that's one way we can be working with the IRA accounts, especially large IRA accounts, to hopefully reduce tax liabilities for you, but also those that you care about. Number 4, our second opinion service. As a reminder, we offer a complimentary second opinion service for those that you care about most. Now, what we'll do is really bring them through what we call a discovery meeting to take a look at their current wealth plan and also to see where they may want to go with their wealth and some of the ideas they have for the future. Now, what we'll do then is look to see and identify any gaps that are in their plan and really look at ways we can be improving upon and closing some of those gaps for the future. Now, that's the process of the second opinion service. And if you would like to introduce us to someone that you care about, please feel free to reach out and we'd be happy to talk. We've covered a lot today, and as you have questions, feel free to reach out so we can set a time that we can talk about your own personal wealth plan. Take care.